Alright, just setting this up. Okay. So yeah, I downloaded PokeMMO. I wanted to try it out. So I've played through the first 3 towns in Kanto already. I chose to start in Kanto. So I've caught the all 3 starter Pokemon. Yeah, I'm trying to level them up. I did find out after downloading it that they haven't implemented Johto yet. That's some ways off. But meantime, I can go through Kanto. I was just checking on Bulbapedia. I was looking up Ghost type Pokemon. So I was reading some of the bugs and imbalances from Gen 1, and like the main thing that is kind of the big thing there was that Ghost type Pokemon. Well, Ghost, Dragon, and Psychic types had balance issues and bugs. So, Psychic types were meant to be weak against Ghost types, like they even had that in the anime. But in-game, it was the other way around, where actually all of the Ghost-type Pokemon, the Ghastly line, they were poison, and so they were weak to Psychic moves. Then on the other hand, Ghost-type moves didn't affect Psychic-type Pokemon. And then the only damaging Ghost-type move in Gen 1 was Lick. Yeah, so in Gen 1 that was pretty much busted. Yeah, as a kid I thought that was intentional when I was playing Pokemon Red and Yellow. What did that say? Cleanse tag. Huh. Purified and protected zone. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, you know, when I originally had Pokemon Red and Pokemon Yellow, I assumed that it was intentional that Ghost were weak against Psychic. Just that's how the game was. You know, I even thought that that was the case into Gen 2 and Gen 3, just because I'd never checked otherwise. And you know, when Shadow Ball would damage a Psychic type Pokemon, I was like, what? But it's listed as Ghost. That must be a bug. Eventually I found out, no, the old way, the old effectiveness was a bug. Ghost is meant to be super effective against Psychic. But, you know, that really, like, you know, my initial impression of those type matchups stuck with me because of the fact that they were busted in the game. And interestingly, in Gen 1, the only Dragon type move that actually did damage was Dragon Rage, which only does 40 HP damage no matter what. So that meant that Dragon Pokemon couldn't get the same type boost. It was any attacks that would benefit from any stats at all would have to not be Dragon type moves. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm playing through Kanto here, which this one's implemented from Fire Red and Leaf Green. I actually do have every mainline Pokemon game up through Gen 6. I didn't finish, I never fully finished X and Y though. Yeah, I've got Red, Yellow, Gold, Crystal. Oh, that's right, I got healed. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I had Red and Yellow, Gold and Crystal, Ruby and Emerald, Pearl, Platinum. Did I have White or Black? I have White 2 and... Let me check my box. Yeah, I have Pokemon White version 1 and 2, and then I was always waiting for waiting for a Pokemon Gray version or something, you know. And then after that was X and Y, and they never came out with a Z version, even though they had a legendary named after Z. Let me see, was it actually ever found? Yeah. Anime, locations. Oh no, it was in X and Y, in its 50% form, which is the one that's kind of Z-shaped. Yeah, but anyway, I got Pokemon X, played kind of through it, but it didn't really grip me enough. I think that was also the first one where the experience share did the whole party, and I understand people have really had a problem with that because it's really messed up the idea of even using more than one Pokemon. Dang it. Yeah, so this PokeMMO, yeah, it implements Emerald, Fire Red, Platinum, and Black or White version. Yeah, it's like I recently saw, just watched some friends talking about they were streaming themselves playing a Nuzlocke run of Platinum. So I'd heard about this, so just kind of just thinking about Pokemon reminded me of this. So I wanted to try it out. You know, I do like kind of playing the Pokemon games, but you know, one thing that's nice about MMO RPG games is that you do get a sense of, like, you know, you're not just kind of wasting time by yourself. It can also be somewhat of a social aspect of where, you know, you are kind of building something up that's not just gonna sit on a shelf. Jeez. So yeah, I was thinking I would start playing through PokeMMO and kind of build up teams on here. I saw that there is like a wiki for PokeMMO, but I assume it's fan run, and you know, it's missing a whole lot because obviously it's on a volunteer basis. Thankfully though, the in-game Pokédex does show where you can find certain Pokemon. So starters, I was able to catch Charmander in the rock tunnel. I started out with Squirtle, and then I caught Bulbasaur near Cerulean, and then I caught Charmeleon inside the rock tunnel. Pikachu, I think I was able to find near Viridian City, as well as Pidgey. That's where I got that. I believe that the game says that you need at least 4 badges in order to go to other lands. So, oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to the Pokemon franchise, the games, you know, starting from Gen 3, they felt even more samey, just kind of going forward from there. And then, You know, Gen 1 was obviously where, like I was saying, that's where I got my start. When I was a wee bitty toddler. So I played Gen 1 as a kid, watched the anime. Then I played Gen 2, and, you know, with that being the first, you know, expansion of the series, it was like... It's cool seeing, like, all the new stuff. These new Pokemon in this new land. It was very slightly differently designed. So it had this kind of weird aspect to it. And then kind of the low fidelity of the, you know, the 8-bit sprites in the first two gens. It kind of allowed your imagination to kind of run wild. And so, especially since the battle sprites in Gen 1 were not at all accurate. Especially in original Red and Blue. And apparently even more so in the Japanese version. You know, you're playing it, you know, it's mostly black and white for the first gen. You know, you really get to use your imagination, so it's kind of... It can be kind of as scary as your mind wants it to be. But then kind of, you know, once it started getting more of the high fidelity, reaching the GBA era, you know, then is, you know, it actually had enough details where you could really see everything, pretty much. But, yeah, from there on, you know, that's kind of when Gen 3 was where they, like, set the formula in stone to, like, never change ever again. Where there's always the evil team, and they're wanting to do something with the legendary Pokemon, and you're gonna go stop them. And it's like, you know, already did that with Gen 1 and 2. In fact, I don't think... In Gen 1 and 2, I don't think that they even involved any legendary Pokemon in the main story. Like Mewtwo was involved with Team Rocket, but that's before the events of the game even takes place. And then Crystal version had its own unique storyline from Gold and Silver that involved pursuing that one guy who was pursuing Suicune. And that was also the first, Crystal was the first one you could play a female character, so that was the one with the blue hair. You know, those two gens felt like they had the most creativity in their story. Yeah, it's weird to think, obviously, because those are the first ones, but... You know, every single generation after has been the exact same formula. The new big teams come because they have a evil plot, something, take over, destroy the world with the, you know, godly legendary Pokemon. And, yeah, before Gen 3, really the Legendaries didn't have such a, you know, massive presence. Then what else? What else was I saying? I was thinking of something. And this feels differently balanced from the original games, but yeah, I don't have any recent first-hand experience to say that, but just from what I recall, I don't really remember being damaged, having as much damage ratio when facing other Pokemon like this. Taking so much damage in return from them and, not just knocking them out in one move. Which is it's pretty much always been like that once you've leveled up your Pokemon to like 50 or whatever, once you've kind of reached their, leveled up state, then it's pretty much you either knock enemy out in one hit, or they knock your Pokemon out in one hit. Mostly the former. I think one thing that makes it different here, I don't know if I pronounced it right the first time, whatever, is that you don't get to switch out your Pokemon in between your opponent's Pokemon. So that way you can't just immediately switch to a new one that's super effective against the one they're about to send out. Instead, you would have to actually use up the turn to do that. There we go. I did read that legendary Pokemon aren't fully implemented. They currently have what are considered uber legendaries, so like the top head honcho legendary of a region, or like the most rare or event related one, kinda. And they have it where there's only one across the whole server, and a person is able to catch it, but then once they've caught it, they are not allowed to turn down duel requests, and if anyone beats them, then they get the Pokemon. And if they log off while they have the Pokemon, then the Pokemon will escape and return to the wild for someone to catch. Basically, it's you don't actually get to keep and train and level up that legendary. It has its own kind of mechanic. But when I was looking into what they were saying, let's see, Spray Swipe's Rage. Power raises the attack stats each time the user is hit in battle. But apparently they were planning to... Oh, new one, okay. Yeah, I'll take Slash. They were planning on implementing non-Uber legendaries. It's basically all of the ones except for the single super one in each region. And implementing, as they said, dungeons where you could catch one. And it would function differently, I assume, is where, each person would be able to catch their own and level it up and all that. That's something that they actually have to work on. I would assume that they would try and put those dungeons, have it be where it's the actual location, for the most part, where they would be in the game. So, like in Kanto, you would find Zapdos at the power plant, I would assume. But I think at the moment they don't have that implemented. Don't have the Pokemans in those spots. They kind of willing to build their own thing rather than just having the Pokemon just be there. Okay, is this restoring PP or is it... No, it's not. Interesting. So it's only healing, but it's not restoring PP. I guess I have to go to the actual Pokemon Center for that. Yeah, one thing I was having a bit of fun with in Pokemon Heart Gold was I caught the legendary birds from Kanto, and could kind of theme them around the weather, where Zapdos could teach it Rain Dance, and then Thunder would always hit. Articuno could learn Hail, and then Blizzard, I think, would always hit, or be powered up, or both, or something. And then Ultras can learn Sunny Day, which just makes fire type moves more powerful, and then if you teach it Solar Beam, it makes it where Solar Beam hits in one turn. Yeah. So hidden power, like okay, yeah. I think a hidden power just kind of randomly varies based on the Pokemon's nature. I think that's how it works. But in addition to the those three in addition to those three legendary birds, I also had Aerodactyl from the fossil, and I sort of themed Aerodactyl's moveset around the same idea of where I taught it Sandstorm, which doesn't have any, as far as I recall, doesn't have any offensive, have any effect on offensive moves, but it does, I think, increase evasion and maybe defense of rock-type Pokemon. Let me see. As well as just not being damaged by that weather effect. Description. Oh, no, I see. So on Bulbapedia it says, damages each Pokemon by 1/16 of its maximum HP, unless it's one of those, or has one of those types, or has an ability. Activates Sand Force, Sand Rush, Sand Veil. Yeah, from Gen 4 onwards, raises special defense of all rock types by 50%. Weather Ball also becomes a rock type, even though Cast-Storm doesn't have a Sandstorm form. Gen 3 onwards, it halves the power of Solar Beam and Solar Blade. Interesting. Solar Blade, that was introduced with Gen 6. There was the signature move of Lurantis. Shore Up. Is that also a newer one? Yeah, Gen 7. Causes the Moonlight since its morning sun to only recover a quarter of max HP. I don't think it has any boosting impact on any attack moves or anything. What was Aerodactyl's ability? Rock Head or Pressure. Pressure is such a boring ability. Like, most legendary Pokemon have Pressure as the ability when you catch them. So, let's see. All that does is make it where the opponent uses double PP. Starting in Gen 5, it could also have Unnerve as a hidden ability, which just makes it where it can't eat berries. Could also have Rock Head, which just prevents recoil damage. Yeah. But anyway, oh, I just saw there's someone in chat. Oh, wow. Yeah, I've never had someone in chat before. Yeah, let's see. So what'd they say? It was... Yeah, so at least that's what Bulbapedia says, that Lick was the only damaging ghost type move. I was really little when I was first playing Gen 1, but let's see, where's it listed? Yeah, so if I list them by generation on Bulbapedia, oh, there is also Nightshade. How was that in Gen 1? Oh, but it's like Seismic Toss. Nightshade only inflicts damage equal to the user's level. Although it is a ghost type move, its type does not alter the amount of damage it inflicts. Yeah. So it's not the only damaging ghost type move, but it's got a similar problem as like Dragon Rage, where it can't be buffed by anything. It does a fixed amount of damage. And then there's Confuse Ray, which is just status. It just confuses the opponent. And the other thing. Some MMO do it like Gen 2, where you finish through one region to go to the next. You pick whatever region. I think it's that. I'm pretty sure that. At least my impression is that once I've got 4 gym badges, then I can take a ferry to go to any available region and start there as well. Yeah, so conceivably you could move on to another generation, like in kind of like Gen 2. Yeah, we get to pick whatever region I would want to go to. I assume. I haven't gotten to that point yet. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of it is nostalgia talking as to kind of why I personally kind of feel like it hit its kind of Pokemon sort of hit its creative peak with Gen 2, because it settled so heavily into the formula after that. Yeah. Because I think in Gen 1, it was, in Gen 2 rather, Team Rocket was still the evil team, but I think they were kind of in chaos. Giovanni had like left in hiding or something. I don't even really remember the stories all that much from the first 2 gens because I was a little kid. And I do remember that the coolest thing in Gold and Silver version when first playing it was being able to battle against Red at the top of a mountain where he's off training silently. That was just like the coolest thing as a kid. Let's see, what's Bulbapedia list as the plot? Yeah, red-haired boy, blah blah blah. Yeah, investigate. Elm was amazed by the egg. I think that's Togepi, I guess. I think south of Azalea. Team Rocket formed again after it was disbanded 3 years prior in first gen, cutting off Slowpoke tails. Yeah, I remember that part. Intending to sell them. Slowpoke well, apricorns. Chased away. Run into Silver again, the red-haired. Oh, the red-haired boy. Okay, when you first talk to Silver, the red-haired rival in Gen 2, his name is shown as question mark question mark question mark. So when like the police show up and ask me like, what is this? What was the person? Can you give a name for the person who you saw? I put his name down as question mark question mark question mark. That's what I named him. 'Cause that's what his name was. In Gen 1, my brother did kind of a similar thing when Professor Oak says, "Here's my grandson. What's his name again?" So my brother named him Erm, E-R-M. So we both got a bit confused about naming our rivals. Move the strange tree. Yeah, it's the Sudowoodo. Holozine City. Ampharos special medicine. Jasmine goes back to the gym. Lake of Rage. It's Team Rocket doing something there. Oh no, it was just Team Rocket was charging a toll to go through. Oh, and then Lance shows up and tells you about Rocket's hideout, but they don't seem to have anything to do with the red Gyarados. Oh, I see. Team Rocket's plan was to emit sound waves, inducing the Magikarp in the lake to evolve into Gyarados, which caused the effect of the red Gyarados. So since it was an unnatural evolution, its color stayed the same. Once you defeat that, then you can fight Price. That's right. And then that's right. They take over the radio tower to try and saying that they're trying to contact Giovanni. Investigate. Find the director. He's been impersonated, and he's actually locked in the basement. You encounter Silver, who intends to defeat Team Rocket all by himself. I do think he was a fairly interesting opponent as well, because rather than just kind of being a spoiled, snotty kid like Green, Gary Blue, whatever you want to call him from the first gen, this kid's actually like a criminal thug who straight of like assaults you when you talk to him the first time, like pushes you away from him, and actually breaks into the lab to steal the Pokemon. And so that kind of was like a sort of kind of like an escalation from the first game. So that was interesting, I thought. I think at first also I wasn't sure if the rival was a boy or a girl because he had long hair. Yeah, back to the story. Summary of Pokemon Gold version. Card key, access the radio tower. After clearing all of the rockets, effectively disbanding them, player receives a wing to encounter Ho-Oh or Lugia. And then go to challenge and capture them. You can go to Blackthorn, and Claire, refuses to give you your badge because she's a sore loser. So then you have to go to Dragon's Den and get a Fang. And then she admits that she's being a little shit, and then gives you your badge. And then you can return to New Barktown, and since you've got HMs and all the badges, then you can travel east from your starting town. Make your way. Let's see. Yeah, you can make your way into this, higher level area right next to where you started that you couldn't get through before. Travel through there and reach the Victory Road and Elite Four from the first game, except they're a little different this time around. Let's see, Elm contacts player, gives you the Master Ball. Yeah, reach the Pokemon League. When they reach the exit of Victory Road, Silver appears and battles you. And the League was different. Now instead of Lorelei, there's Will, who uses Psychic type. Then Koga has ascended from just a gym leader to Elite Four. Bruno is still there. And then, what was her name? Agatha is no longer there. Instead, there's Karen, who uses Dark type. And then Lance has ascended from just 4th of the Elite Four to being the champion. Graduate player. Back in New Barktown. Professor gives you the SS ticket, which allows you to travel to Kanto. Man will bump into the player, ask them for help as he has lost his granddaughter on the ship. A reuniting ship arrives in Vermilion, where you take your first steps into Kanto. Then you're given free reign to go through Kanto, which it says it's scaled down. Huh. Collect the badges from the gym leaders. I did think it was so cool to revisit all of the gyms in Kanto a few years later. Giovanni is no longer the leader of Viridian, and now Blue Gary, whatever you want to call him, has now become the leader of Viridian City. Which, I think he's learned, after Oak gave him a talking to once you defeat him, I think he kind of had to turn over a new leaf. I forget if he also takes on the ground type for the gym, or if... no, Nope, no specialty type for... Oh wait, no, that's in... Oh yeah, gold, silver, crystal. Yeah, so no specialty type for a Kanto gym. Radiant gym. Yeah, and so in main series, gold, silver, crystal. Yeah, so he goes there with his non-type specific team. Doesn't include a starter because his starter isn't based on yours in gold and silver. Yeah. Then you actually run in. No, let's see. Cinnabar Island has been destroyed by the volcano. Blaine, he's still the leader of the Cinnabar Gym, but he's now found instead at the Seafoam Islands. You found all the badges. You can go to Mount 28 and past it, Silver Cave, Mount Silver. I forget. Don't you encounter Giovanni in Gold and Silver? Grand set of open tunnels and passages. Travel through where Red, now a Pokemon Master, stands alone to be fought. Credits roll again, and you're deposited back at the Pokemon Center. Yeah, let me look up Giovanni, see, because I'm pretty sure he had an appearance in Gold and Silver. No? Not in the original Gold and Silver, I guess. He is in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. And there, he's just kind of like the former head of Team Rocket. Let me see. First games. Once defeated, he disbands Team Rocket. Oh yeah, I see. After the player defeated him itself, he fled to a hideout. He's gym leader. Yeah, Disbands Team Rocket once you defeat him in his gym in the first game. Vanishes and not seen again. Gold, silver, heart gold, soul silver. Try to take. So in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they added the storyline that Giovanni has a hideout in Tojo Falls. An event in the remakes involves a time-traveling Celebi that allows Ethan and Lyra to travel back in time and defeat Giovanni at the same time the rest of Team Rocket is being defeated at the radio tower. Keeps losing to children. Leaves the room and disappeared. Blah, 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 blah. Into Pokemon Gold and Silver versions. There's the rival in Gold and Silver. I think there was some kind of... Yeah, there's like a reveal that he's a son of Giovanni, but was that in the original Gold and Silver? It's first alluded to in Fire Red and Leaf Green, so it's not revealed until Heart Gold and Soul Silver in the remakes. Interesting. Oh, I see. So when Giovanni disbanded Team Rocket, he also abandoned his son. Which probably is what led him to grow up into such a kind of a bitter boy who also wants to take down Team Rocket. Interesting. Yeah. Anyway, let me get back to the game. But I do find it interesting that there is not... It's not kind of a single overriding simple story in the first two gens. It's where there's kind of their own stories that they do tie together, and that Team Rocket is generally behind all the bad stuff, but they're not like like a cult trying to destroy the world like in basically all the later games. Instead, they're, you know, a criminal organization. They're like, you know, Yakuza or gangsters, you know, the Mafia. So they didn't have, you know, the grand aspirations of, like, using legendary Pokemon to destroy the world. They just kind of had their own plots. Which is, it's a bit more down to earth. And again, it's kind of just nostalgia speaking, because that was my intro to the series, was those two gens and the anime. Yeah, before Gen 3, the legendary Pokemon were not actually the central focus of the plot. I mean, Gen 1, it wasn't even named after any... The colors weren't named after any legendary Pokemon. It was just named after the starters. Oh yeah, and then Pokemon Yellow, that was where you had the Pikachu following you. I wonder if they... When they decided for the idea of Pokemon Yellow, was it like when the anime started? Was it because they saw people like Pikachu? Don't really recall what the order of things was back then. Yeah. Oh my god, it took one step. Oh yeah, also I didn't realize until, you know, recently, you know, actually thinking about the Pokemon, but the reason it's called Ghastly, you know, is because it's, you know, a cloud of poison gas, which is also why it's a poison type, seemingly randomly. Even though its evolutions don't seem to have any, you know, any aspect of poison to them other than just being purple. Yeah, that always threw me off, was the way Ghost and Psychic interacted. I always thought for the longest time that Psychic was meant to be strong against Ghost. That threw me off in the anime when they're like, oh, to beat Sabrina, we'll need to go to the haunted house and catch a ghost Pokemon. I was like, what? That's not correct. They must have made a mistake. Ghost Pokemon are weak against Psychic. So that always confused me. You know, I again, that is a big thing to mess up in the game. What else? What else? Anything else I want to comment about? Oh yeah, let me talk about Homestuck. No, just kidding. Yeah, but I caught this Charmeleon as a Charmander in Rock Tunnel, and so I'm wanting to, you know, get all three of these starters up and running, evolved. That's also something that I've basically been trying to do since, I think since the second or third generation, is my brother and I would both get a copy of it. I would get one of the versions, he'd get the other. And then we would, when we're starting the games on one of them, we would restart to pick the different starters, and then use the... As soon as we were able, we would trade them to a game that we wanted to have them all on. And once we did that, if we wanted to have like another set of those... Oh, be gone, intruders. Ooh, spooky. So you need the Sylph Scope, I think, to progress there. But yeah, that's something I've always done for most gens, is I've intentionally gotten all three starters because I wanted to have, you know, the three types. You know, it feels like a more complete experience to have the three starters. Interestingly, if I think about it, I think that Gen 2 was the only one where they were all just pure types. Only fire, only water, only grass. Oop. I've always picked the water starter, mainly just because as a kid I would pick whatever one I thought was the cutest, you know, to be the companion. Except for Gen 2, because Gen 2 Totodile is kind of, you know, the little mischievous crocodile little thing. So instead I picked Cyndaquil, because Cyndaquil was the cutest looking one. But every generation since, I've kind of thought that the water one seemed like the cuter one to pick. Although it is one thing that the... I don't recall exactly how things were funneled in the original game, but the direction isn't quite as clear in the first gens of where you should actually go to progress the game. Oh, no PP left. Oh no, there's no PP. Yeah, I mean it's a bit convoluted in Gen 1. I mean, first town you get to is Viridian. There's a gym there, but the leader's gone. You can't do that. Then you travel through the forest to reach the first town with an actual functioning gym. Rock type one, which kind of encouraged people to either pick Squirtle or Venusaur instead of Charmander. Yeah, you do that, then you go through the Mount Moon to get to Cerulean. And I want to say there was a rival battle along with that, so it's kind of an ordeal to get through that to get to Cerulean City. And then once you do get there, there's like a ledge that you hop down that prevents you from backtracking to Pewter City. So you can only then return there once you've progressed farther. I think once you've gotten access to the Diglett Cave. Yeah, but anyway, you get to Cerulean, beat that, you go talk to Bill up on like the Cape or whatever. You can't go directly to Saffron City. Instead, you've got to take a tunnel under it, go south to the third gym. You get to the third gym in Vermilion City, where you need an HM to reach the gym. I guess they've just have terrible landscaping where they don't seem to think there's a problem to have trees blocking the entrance to the gym. You get the third badge there. There's the ship, the SS Anne, you go on, which departs as soon as you leave, so you can never revisit it. You do that. You still can't go to Saffron City, and you also can't... I want to say that originally the Snorlax was also blocking the route to the right, but I don't recall. Let me see. Game data. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, there's two of them. Okay. Yeah, so there's the one blocking the Diglett Cave, and I guess the... Are there screenshots of it? Where's that? Yeah, so in Gold and Silver, the sprite was 4 tiles big instead of just 1, and it was blocking the whole path. And is there a picture of the first generation? I don't know. But yeah, then in the first gen, in addition to the one blocking the Diglett Cave, there's the one blocking the way to the docks on the east side. You need the Poke Flute to get past it. Wait a minute, there's another one over in... Where's that? Pokemon Yellow walkthrough. Oh, then what was blocking the Diglett Cave? Okay, maybe I'm remembering things wrong. No points of interest, but it's the only place where you can find Diglett and Dugtrio in Kanto. There's the layout, Gen 1. Yeah, it might be that you could go through, but I think you might have needed flash to be able to see. I don't recall. Gen 1, the cave was noticeably longer. Oh, and then in Gen 3, they made it even longer. Oof. So I think it's in Gen 2 where Snorlax was blocking it. Been so long, jeez. Did I go back to the gym yet? Or the, not the gym, the Pokemon Center. Yeah, I did. Okay. Doo-doo-doo. Let's see appearances. Pokemon Ranger. Main locations. Route 12, Route 16. Only 2. In-game event Pokemon, I see. 2 set encounters. Route 12, Route 16. Just capture or defeat at least one of them to proceed to Fuchsia City. Route 12. That's the one with all the piers. Goes up to Fuchsia City. And Route 16. Oh, the northern starting point of Cycling Road. The other one blocks the cycling road, I see. Then what was blocking the Diglett's Cave? Was there anything blocking it? Description. Route is surrounded by grass patches, Pokemon dirt paths. I recall there being like mention of like electrical electrical wires or don't get shocked or something. So I think I assumed that the paved paths there with the kind of weird barriers on the sides. I thought it was like, are you supposed to avoid those? Are those electrified or something? Are those the electric wires? I swear that there was something, because I think I encountered this in here as well. One of the trainers said something about getting shocked. And, oh yeah, it was gamblers who were along the way. Oh, there's an engineer. There's engineers too. That's probably who mentioned it. But then later on, you couldn't call it gambling. You know, you had to just say gamer who plays games. Do. Sleeping Snorlax is at the east end of Route 11. Oh, interesting. All of the gamblers on the route in Gen 1 will be the same type as your of a generation starter. I don't know if that's really as interesting as I thought it was at first. I could swear that there was something getting in the way of Diglett's Cave, but it might have just been that yeah. No, you don't need flash, it's not dark. Huh. I guess I'm just remembering wrong, because yeah, I think it's Gen 2 is what's throwing me off. In Gen 2, the Snorlax is in a different spot. It is on the same... It is blocking the same route, but it's blocking the other end of the route, where it's blocking both the cave and the way east. I see. That's what I was remembering. Yeah. Oh yeah, so back to PokeMMO. It seemed... I think I saw someone in chat saying that all of the trainers, they actually... when you rebattle them, they've gotten stronger, which, you know, that is typical of the Pokemon games, but I think it sounds like it's probably each time you rebattle them, I would assume they continue to get stronger as you do. I would assume. You know, I kind of never liked how certain Pokemon were completely... you know, in all generations, there are certain Pokemon you just can't get because they're event Pokemon. But, you know, it's like, most of the events involve, you know... Historically, it would be where, now they can distribute them online. But previously, you had to physically go to an event, like, you know, in a big city somewhere, or, you know, in Japan. There might have been some for some movie, releases, but I don't think many Pokemon movies after like the first ones got to theaters. I don't recall. Yeah, you know, you physically had to go somewhere to get those ones, and that's not exactly feasible for a lot of kids. Thankfully, with like Action Replays or Game Sharks or whatever you want, then you can get those Pokemon. Oh yeah, I remember it. I just remembered in my Pokemon Red version, I had a Blastoise, which I don't remember how, but I guess I had gotten... I think I traded my Blastoise for another one, or my Squirtle or something. So the original trainer wasn't my name, it was just filled with the letter T, but the person had named their trainer. I don't even recall who it was. And then, no, I think I know what it was, is that I traded it to an older kid who I knew, my Blastoise, because he said he could get it to 100 really quick. But he never traded it back. I never got it back. So, I don't recall if it was that Blastoise or if that was one that I got, that someone traded me as a replacement. I don't recall. I want to say it's that I traded it away. Yeah, but then what would have happened to my original? I don't know if I would have traded my original before then. I don't know, I was little. I was like 3 or 4 or something. Oh yeah, it's another thing that's kind of annoying about Gen 1 when it comes to types, other than all the, you know, ghost and psychic type stuff, is that I think all grass type Pokemon, except for like Paris and Tangela, I think they're all poison type. So Bulbasaur through Venusaur, in fact I can pull up the Pokedex. Yeah, so Bulbasaur through Venusaur, they're all grass poison. Then there's Oddish, you know, its whole line is grass poison to Vileplume. Paris has a different typing, it's both bug and grass. Even though it could conceivably also be poison because, you know, it's a parasite with spores and stuff. And after that there's Bellsprout, which is also grass and poison type. Go through here some more. Yeah, a lot of these I haven't caught yet. Executor. And there's Tangela is down here. I think that might be Tangela, whatever. Yeah, that one's the only pure grass type in Gen 1, I think. So as a result, even though poison is super effective against grass, for the majority of grass type Pokemon, including the grass starter, that doesn't come into play because it's made just neutral or not very effective. I think just neutral in Gen 1. Yeah. I'm just looking through stuff a little more. I do find it interesting that, you know, there's always kind of, they have trios of certain Pokemon that are like ice, lightning, and fire. So in the first gen there was, so obviously the legendary Pokemon. What were their numbers? Wait. 43. Oh, okay, so they were 144, 145, 146. They're just not in this Pokédex because they're legendaries. As well as 150, 151. Okay, but yeah, you know, there was Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres. They were ice, lightning, fire. And then you also had Jinx, Electabuzz, and Magmar. Even though Jinx was also a psychic type, which kind of threw off the theming. It's not very icy, whereas these are definitely elemental. They all got pre-evolutions in Gen 2, but then in Gen 4, Jinx did not get an evolution. Only Electabuzz and Magmar did. Because they had Electivire and Magmortar, but nothing for Jinx. So I don't know what the deal was with that, why they didn't do that. It could have been that, you know, there were complaints about Jinx's design, you know, probably both the face and the fact that it's, you know, a woman with outlined breasts or something. Yeah, because originally it was like, you know, Mr. Popo, where it was entirely black skin, like it was in shadow or something. Eventually they made it purple to make it clear that it's not meant to be like, you know, human caricature. I always thought it kind of looked like, you know, like kind of like an operatic diva or something. You know, the extravagant dress and big hair and all that. You know, in Gen 2 they introduced the Smoochum baby evolution, but they didn't give it the third one like they did with Magmar and Electabuzz. I always thought that was weird. Looking through the Bulbapedia page on it again. Yeah. Anything in the trivia? Yeah. Hmm. In the trivia section, there's thought that the black face may have come from old mythology. Some are pointing to a Nordic goddess who is often depicted as having half white, half black face. Based on the idea that, yeah, she kind of looks like the, opera fat lady, where they always have, oh, it's the Nordic Valkyrie, that's, the opera. Another possible origin is Yama-Uba, the mountain crone. That sounds like Japanese mythology, although it probably doesn't have a specific dark skin thing. I don't know. May also be based on Yama-Uba or Yamanba, described as wearing a tattered red kimono, having whitish blonde hair, control over snow, dark-colored skin, and large lips. Oh yeah, that might be. That's also become used at the extreme end of Ganguro fashion, which is the heavy spray tan, bleached hair look. Yeah. Yeah, so I wonder if the race controversy might have caused them to just avoid doing any more for Jinx in the future. Just to be on the safe side. Yeah. I don't know. That was just a little observation I realized recently, was that it never got its third form. Do. Yeah, so I guess the race complaints about Jinx first made an impact with right at the start of 2000. There was an op-ed that was widely run across Alabama where someone was going to make the criticism eventually, but there was a culture critic was saying she was a racist stereotype of a black woman. Oh, like an overweight drag queen. I think that's kind of an example of cultural ignorance going two ways of, not really thinking about would a depiction like that make as much sense for a Japanese company, as well as, when releasing something you're going to have, around the world, or even not around the world, you just got to be conscious of the way other cultures perceive things. So when people are sensitive about depictions like, the Mr. Popo face, you gotta be aware of that. What was I thinking of, though? Although there have definitely been examples of Japanese cartoons, especially some old ones, where they did straight up just have like blackface depicting characters. Like earlier this year, I watched YMS talking about Kimba, the White Lion, or Jungle Emperor Leo, as it was called in Japan. And in the original manga and the first runs of the first anime adaptations, the Africans were depicted as like super dark with like, yeah, it was very, very much like visually visually, racially caricatured. Yeah, in Japan, there's not as much stigma around like caricaturing like ethnic features, I guess. So larger lips, etc. But you know, there's been so much bad history of that in the U.S. that we're not very tolerant of that sort of thing. Anyway, not to talk about heavy stuff like race relations while playing a silly Pokemon game. Maybe need to listen to some Joe Pera so you can relax before you go to bed. Take your minds off the day-to-day struggles like race relations. Switch Pokemon. Yeah. Oh yeah, I just remembered something I hadn't really encountered in previous generations, but that I encountered in Pokemon X version. Was that if you use the move Fling, you know, you throw your item, it deals damage, but it permanently destroys your item. You lose that item. I didn't know that, so when my freaking Greninja learned Fling, you know, a dark type move, which I wanted it to know dark type moves to get the effectiveness. So I used Fling while it was holding an amulet coin. And so then I realized, oh shit, I've saved since destroying my amulet coin. Yeah, that's not fun. It should have had a, you know, at least a mention in the move description that it destroys or you lose the item. I don't know. I'd never encountered that before just because I had never, you know, used the move Fling with a Pokemon before. Oh, finally, a double battle. Yeah, well, when I've been encountering horde battles, it's only been one of my Pokemon against a whole horde. I was thinking, hey, that's not fair. But finally got even numbers here. You know, another thing about Pokemon, there are quite a number of type advantages and matchups that I didn't realize for quite a while because they just don't spring to mind. Like, for several generations, I didn't realize that ground was super effective against poison. And then bug always just kind of seemed so irrelevant to me. Never, I think it was for a couple generations, I didn't realize it was super effective against psychic types and dark types. Yeah. What else? Ah. Oh, I saw there were 2 players there, and I just assumed that this mass of characters was players. I forgot about these. Yeah, it's don't tend to talk that much, comment that much, especially just kind of. I'm just kind of tired lately, so especially obviously it's early in the morning. Also, just kind of tended to be quiet in general. Back to the Pokemon Center. And I was reading that they apparently have changed how the amulet coin functions in PokeMMO. Instead of it being a held item that boosts the amount you earn, instead it's a consumable. And because there's player trading, I guess they're pretty expensive, so they're not actually even worth using, but people will farm them for selling them, I guess. And the luck incense, which used to have the same effect, in the games. I think the commenter said that it actually has no effect now. Instead, it's all it does is affect breeding. Oh yeah. Realize another thought relevant to a little chat thing was there's a number of Pokemon even ever since Gen 1 that really ought to be 3 types, but that would be a little too complicated, especially for type matchups. And, you know, they don't have it implemented where Pokemon can have that. But like a lot of the bug Pokemon, so you know, Butterfree, bug and flying, that's normal. But Beedrill is bug and poison, but it can fly. So I think it knows. I think it has Levitate as its ability. Yeah, so it's bug and poison type. No, it's got Swarm. So is it affected by ground type? I guess so. Then there's also Venonat and Venomoth, which are also bug poison and not flying. And yeah, Gyarados. Really, Water Dragon would have made some more sense, but yeah. I don't know. No, stop that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that they never combined the Nidorans into a single Pokemon slot, because, you know, in Gen 2 they added Pokemon genders, so, yeah, the intention was that they're both Nidoran, it's just one is male, one is female. But I guess just for game mechanics, they have it where, just because the number was already taken up, where it's two separate Pokemon. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was just mentioning the whole kind of Japan and racial stereotypes kind of thing. I realized in Animal Crossing, there's the frog character Cousteau. You know, he's called that because he's a frog. He's got the mustache. But in the latest game, New Horizons, he wears like a Chinese silk shirt. It's like, hey, that doesn't seem French. So I look it up. In Japan, he's not French or called Cousteau. Instead, he's, let's see, where is it? In Japan, his name was Harumaki, which apparently means spring roll in Japanese, which is traditionally a Chinese dish. His house is also East Asian themed. And, you know, when you look at him, he's a yellow frog with kind of slanted, closed eyes and a mustache. And, you know, obviously I don't think in Japan that wouldn't be perceived as I don't think it would be perceived as a racial caricature. Maybe against Chinese, but I don't know. But, you know, in America, I think that would have been kind of looked down upon. So instead, he's a French frog. Even though they didn't localize anything else about him, including his clothing or, you know, house. Which, you know, they have done changes for certain other games. You know, made substantial character design changes, but that's kind of more of a modern thing. You know, he was in, I think, the original Animal Crossing. Yeah, Animal Forest. So that's the original Japanese version on the N64. Yeah. Yeah, you know, under the realization that he's supposed to be Chinese, it kind of has some implications that wouldn't have gone over so well in America. So, yeah. I've also meaning to think about what Pokemon, you know, which Pokemons would be the best HM slaves. Right now I'm using Paris for cut and flash. What else? It's got Sleep Powder, which can be used for catching Pokemon, but I think I'll want to have a separate Pokemon for dedicated catching. So I would teach False Swipe, and Ideally, it would have one of those abilities that prevents Pokemon from fleeing, but I think there's only a small number that have that, and they don't tend to learn False Swipe. Let's see. Escape. Success conditions. Other factors. Shadow Tag. Arena Trap. Grounded Pokemon. Magnet Pull for Steel type Pokemon. Huh. What else is there? There are some Pokemon that will actually the abilities Wimp Out and Emergency Exit. Oh, that's starting in Gen 7. But starting in Gen 7, those two abilities will cause wild Pokemon with that ability to run away once they reach half health. Interesting. What did I click on here for? Alright. So what kinds of Pokemon will have this? So only Diglett, Dugtrio, and Trapinch have Arena Trap. Shadow Tag, signature ability of Wynot and Wobbuffet. Gothita, Gothorita, Gothiel have that as a hidden ability, though. I don't think Wobbuffet has any. I don't think it can learn False Swipe. Let me see. Oh, you can't teach any TM moves to Wobbuffet in Gen 5 or Gen 4 in any gens? No, you can't. Okay, you can't teach like any moves to Wobbuffet. You can only know the moves Counter, Mirror Coat, Safeguard, and Destiny Bond. 4, 5. Yeah, those are its only moves. Although when Wynot was introduced, that was in Gen 3, right? Yeah, because Gen 2 it didn't have a pre. Starting in Gen 3, Wynot could know Tickle, Encore, Charm, and Splash, but you know those are just kind of bland moves. And it's interesting. Wobbuffet has a very limited move set. I didn't realize that. How about Gothiel? Oh, that's only its hidden ability. What were the other abilities for that? There's Magnet Pull for Steel type. Oh, and Arena Trap only works for grounded Pokemon. You know, ones that are not flying type or don't have Levitate, etc. So yeah, that's such an uncommon ability that it doesn't even really. You can't use it for that strategy. I would doubt that Trapinch can learn False Swipe. Nope. But ideally, I'd want to have a Pokemon that can know False Swipe and can put a Pokemon to sleep. And probably also have a move that can trap one. So rather than having an ability, I would use a move then. What are the moves for that? Trapping moves. What's also there? There's Mean Look that does that. Trapping moves. I see. Anchor Shot, Gen 7. Block, Gen 3. What does that do? Prevents it from switching out or fleeing. Bypasses accuracy checks, unless it's semi-invulnerable. Blocked by Protect or Detect. Before Gen 6, it did affect Ghost types. So what kind of Pokemon could learn that? There's several could learn that. Oh, and you can breed it into a few as well. What other moves? Fairy Lock, that obviously has to have been at that after Gen 6. G-Max Terror, even later. Ingrain. I think that does it to yourself, doesn't it? Yeah, it prevents the user from switching out. Jaw Lock, Mean Look, no retreat. Jaw Lock is Gen 8. Mean Look. There's lots that can learn Mean Look, I think, but that's a dark type move. No Retreat is Gen 8. Octolock, Gen 8. Shadow Hold, Spiderweb, Spirit Shackle, Thousand Waves. Oh, the Shadow Hold is only from Pokemon XD because it's part of the Shadow moves. Spiderweb. It's a bug type move from Gen 2. Signature move of Ariados and Spinarak. It can also be learned by Galvantula and Joltik. Spirit Shackle, Gen 7, signature move of Decidueye. What type is that? Ghost. Oh, Decidueye is Ghost type. Interesting. Thousand Waves, Gen 6, a signature move of Zygarde. But it was not legitimately available until Gen 7? Really? Okay, so it was introduced, it was in the files in Gen 6, I guess, but you couldn't get it, you couldn't tutor it onto your Zygarde until Gen 8. That's weird. Yeah. I'll look into that later on. Anyway, yeah, I'm getting tired, so I think I'll cut the stream off here. It's 3:30 in the morning.